Alright, today's Thursday. I am far behind on videoing this week, but that's alright. We got some sad news. So, 2 nights ago, my buddy and I was out in the garage working on this Dakota Convertible, and Mama Cat, who you've seen in several of my videos, she was in there, of course, in the way. So he picks her up to move her out of the way, and he says, "I think her leg's broken." So, sure enough, her right rear leg was broken. No idea how it happened. Keep in mind, Mama Cat's an outside cat. She doesn't come in the house. She will not come in the house. So, 9 o'clock at night, emergency vet visit, and determined that the only fix was to amputate her leg. So last night, we went and got her home. So now we're trying to get her back together. They say that she won't even know she's missing a leg when she gets back active. So in the meanwhile, I've been working outside tonight, getting some things done. Neighbor driving by, and I've had this idea in my head for a very long time, and like I've said before, my wife finally gave me the green light. It's not quite done. I'll change it I'll add more to this as we get closer to being done. But this is a project grandson helped me on this evening. Something I've always wanted to do, and I think it's cool as hell. So we have more to add to this, but we need to go get some more stuff, and then I've got some more stuff to light it up. I got a spotlight and whatnot, so I need to get another 3-in-1 plug-in for the extension cord. But this is the Lebaron coupe. It was her idea to use the Lebaron coupe, and I said I've wanted to do this for a very long time. I have a strange vision in my head that I want to take one of these Lebarons, a convertible specifically, and basically take the entire engine, drivetrain, gas lines, fuel lines, or tank, brake lines, anything has fluid in it, get rid of all of it. Gut the interior basically, and I want to sit it in our yard. So we have 3 lots. So we have this and then our house, and then we have a whole nother empty lot on the other side. So what I want to do is make the convertible sit out here, kind of like what this one is, but I want to do a koi pond, fountain type thing with it, and I just think that would be so neat. If we lived in the country, it'd probably be a lot easier to do that and get away with it, but living in town, I would keep it nice. I keep my yard and everything mowed and trimmed and looks nice, flowers all done and stuff, but not everybody has the same vision I have as far as a car sitting in the yard. This one here is temporary. The car runs and moves. I drove it here. Has 0 brakes, but I got it here okay. And so once Halloween's over, I kind of want to keep it here for Christmas, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So anyways, I'll do more on this as we get more stuff. I said my grandson helped me do this, and I think it turned out pretty cool. It's going to look cooler once it gets dark, but it's got the little lights, all the lights that are blinking. And then I mentioned it, I think. He's got a ratchet in his hand. There's a cat skeleton. The skeleton looks like he's driving. So, pretty neat. I'm proud of it. I think it turned out pretty cool. So, fall is here. Man, the weather, it has changed. It was 80-some degrees 2 days ago, and it's like 55 right now. So it is what it is. But we'll close up the building and call it a night. If I look like a face of exhaustion, I can't even speak, that would be true. So I'm still working on this Dakota Convertible. And I had somebody that wanted a driver's side control arm. And that took figuring out how to get it apart. Keep in mind, I've actually never done one of these Dakotas before. So this is 100% a learning curve. I'm going to walk over here. I don't understand engineers. I just truly do not understand. So let me pick this up. So if you look, the control arm, well, you know what? Let's go to the other side. Because it's still together. I got the driver's side apart. It actually came apart fairly easily. The driver's or passenger side is a yeah. So this is the upper ball joint. It goes into the steering knuckle. I got the nut all the way off. It's like the nut's completely gone. And I have used my tie rod end tool to try to get in here and pop it out. It won't budge. So still fighting that. But then they have these nuts here that go on the ends, the outside ends of the control arm. This one is loose and ready to come apart. I haven't tried this one yet. But here's the thing. You see this bar that runs through here? And you see this threaded end down here? And then that? Well, that's not even a flipping nut or a bolt head. Like, it's not even square. And if it is square, I don't have a socket that fits it. And I don't have no idea what size it is. I tried all my metric. I tried all my standard. I've tried everything. So, luckily I have a socket cutting set. So these sockets, you can drive them on with a hammer, and you can either use a 3/8 ratchet, or you get their 6-point, so you can put a socket on here and use this. Well, that worked fine on the driver's side. This is what you end up with. This thing, I don't know what the heck it is, but obviously it's all boogered up and completely junk, which is fine. I don't care. Well, again, this nut is loose. I don't know what this nut's purpose is, because this appears to be inside here. I don't get it. I don't understand how this functions, other than it's a major pain in the butt to get it apart. So I got the front one of them funky looking bolts out. This one here, oh my gosh, it is fighting. I have tried hammering the cutting, or the socket that you use when you have stripped bolt heads. I have beat it on there, and I don't know how many times. And I use the impact slowly. I don't just go full bore. I go slowly, just to tap, just trying to get it to break free. And if I can get it to start, it'll come off. I can't even get the damn thing to start because this thing keeps wanting to pop off. Well, the other side tried to do that, and I was able to drive the next size smaller on this one. It won't even consider dropping on. So I was working on that earlier. The driver's side, like I said, I had somebody that wants that side. So I got it apart, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go underneath here and pull the drive shaft. Get ready so we can get this engine and transmission and all that out of this thing, because this thing's got to be cut up into pieces, and I've got no room in the back. I have no room in here at all. So I have to kind of come from the front. So the plan is to get the engine, transmission, transfer case out. I haven't figured out how I'm going to get the engine puller in here, but I'll worry about that later. I can always just kind of take it. I don't know. Anyways, so once I get that out, then I can come back in here somewhere and cut the frame rail on each side. Once all of the suspension and all this is out. Of course, it's a dagnum, I'm drawing a blank. The torsion bar suspension. And I've never touched one of those. And of course, you know, it's under pressure. So you can't just go in there and start unbolting it, because that's when things get damaged or I get hurt. I don't care about the truck, but I care about myself. So this thing is turning into a bigger project than I had planned. I originally thought it would be. It wouldn't have been so bad. Well, hell, yeah, it would have. It would have been bad no matter what I did. So what's probably going to end up happening on this entire project is this entire truck is, like I said, I'm going to have to cut the frame down. Mostly the reason I got to cut it down is because I've got to be able to fit it in another car. And then we're going to end up cutting the cab all up and again, putting it in another car. And then the bed we're keeping or trying to sell. I'm going to try to sell. The cab, I was wanting to sell it, but you can see it is just completely rotted everywhere you look. The floors are gone. The rockers are gone. And honestly, nobody's going to want this cab. So we'll take off what we can. You can see the frame mount on this, or the cab mount on this side is completely rotted. Why it just turned around on me, I don't know. But you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the whole front of the cab just wants to do this. Like it wants to bow right in here. So the dash is completely out. Still got to get the heater box out. The steering column we got out, and of course all the interior. I think I'd mentioned earlier about getting the roll bar out. I had to get the roll bar out to get this trim here out because there was a screw. Well, there's two screws that were hidden by the roll bar. The only way to get them out was to remove the entire roll bar, and that was a whole nother process. So we're making progress on the truck. We're getting further along. It's just time consuming. So, back to the drive shaft. So I was underneath there, and it's a 3/8, or it should be a 3/8 bolt. 10's too big, 8's too small, 9's too small. So 3/8, well, it doesn't fit properly. It wants to just spin. So I told my buddy, I got a Sawzall. I'll cut the son of a gun out and worry about it later. And he's like, no, he's going to come over here sometime. And we're going to mess with it some more. But I got the steering gears out. All the steering components are out. Tie rods, intermediate link, center link, whatever you call it. That's out. What else? This side is pretty much done. I got to get the lower ball joint bolt out, and then the steering knuckle will drop off, and then the axle shaft come out. But then I can't do the lower control arm until we get the torsion bar. We figure out how that comes apart. He knows how, I don't. But showing this truck why it wasn't saved. This is just one little bracket. It's the bump stop, so it's not a major component. But you can see the frame rail's rotted up in here. And then, of course, you can see the frame rail's rotted there. And then up inside, I think, is completely rotted. So this truck has definitely served its purpose. Had 179,000 miles on it, I think. And it was in Ohio its whole life. It was actually sold fairly local and probably never really left this area. So that's what we're doing tonight. Again, it's Friday. Just trying to plug away at this thing to get it further and closer to being done. I still don't have a truck. That's a whole nother situation. I'm hoping next week. I know I've said that before, and I think I said that yesterday or the first time I did a video this week, but I keep trying. Hershey or Spring Carlisle. Has anybody ever been to Spring Carlisle? And if you have, what's a good thing to take there? We've got a bunch of the rat rod parts, but I've only got like 4 or 5 totes of those. Would that be worth going out to Spring Carlisle, getting 2 spaces, loading up the truck and going out? Maybe I can get lucky and sell some front wheel drive stuff, pre-sell some front wheel drive stuff while we're there. I don't know. Maybe I can get lucky and pre-sell some Dakota stuff. I don't know. My buddy and I have been talking about that. And then Holly Mo Party 2026. The plan as of making this today, we will be there. So, you know, it's still a long ways away. It's 11 months. So anything can happen between now and then. Anyway, I'm I'm about done with this thing for the night. I don't know if I'm going to continue working on it or not. I keep trying. Once I get aggravated with one thing, I kind of try to move to another, but I'm out of other things to move to. I've got to go back to the stuff that's aggravated me. So it is what it is. But anyway, quit boring you. I won't be doing a video tomorrow on Saturday, most likely. We've got, I think my wife has some plans. So I'll be taking care of what she needs to do. And then Sunday, hopefully I can get back out here and work on this again. Got to finish up the display on the Lebaron that you saw earlier. So anyway, let's get busy. I ain't gonna get done sitting here talking about it. Good morning. It's Sunday morning. It's beautiful outside. So yesterday, didn't really do a lot. Took my buddy. He bought another Dakota pickup truck to replace the one that he used to drive. So we did that first thing in the morning, and then I came home and worked on some more decorations for Halloween. And that was about it. So I'm out here in the garage trying to get motivation. And it's not that I don't want to do what needs to be done. I just don't know where to begin. So have you ever had times where it's just like everything's very overwhelming? So I come out to the garage, open up the door, and I'm like, damn, where do I start? I know what I want to do, but I don't know where to start. I've got a huge mess. I've got parts everywhere. Bigger stuff. I'm not talking about the small stuff. The small stuff's easy. It's the big stuff. It's stuff like, this is all plastic trim from the back of Daytonas. I kept it probably because it wasn't broken, but at the same time, you can't really ship that stuff. It's so difficult to ship, and it's really not cost prohibitive to the buyer. So what do I do with it? Right now, I don't have a truck. I don't even have a truck or a junk car that I could even throw it in. The only junk car I have here is that Toyota Celica, and that stuff like that, unless you bust it up, isn't really going to fit. And then I got stuff like this. The whole bed of this truck is full. There's more plastic stuff there. There's a nose. And then just junk, this booster and big brake backing plates. That's a whole system setup. That needs to go downstairs. So, and then I get this mess. And then this stuff just everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's just stuff. And I'm really starting to get annoyed. Not with any of you, but with myself, because I do have a heart, and I hate throwing this stuff away, because I've said it many times before, they're not making it ever again. So once it's gone, it's gone. But at the same time, where do I keep it? I'm going to show you. Well, I don't even have to show you. You've seen the building. I just went out and stood out there for 5 minutes, trying to determine what I'm going to do in there. The plan was, or is, as of right now, to put, so in the building, car-wise, the Horizon's in there, the little Toyota, which it's going to get parted and leave, and then the GLHS is in there. And the Horizon and the Toyota both run. The GLHS does not. Well, I don't think it does. I haven't tried. So the plan was to get the three of them out, and then the LeBaron, the Shadow, and the Dakota Convertible will go in there. Now, I think if I was able to rearrange and organize a little bit better, I think I could probably squeeze a fourth car in there. The fourth car, I don't know what it would be. I've got the 90 Daytona that's been sitting here for 2 years. I've never done anything with it. I have an idea in my head to do a Lemons rally with it. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. We got the GLH Omni. I hate to sell it, but at the same time, I'm never going to do anything with it. It just sits here. I've got it listed for sale and haven't had a single serious person inquire about it. Everybody wants to trade, junk for it, but I'm not interested in trades. I'd rather just sell it outright to to a person that's into them. So I've got that, and then of course the 90 Dakota here, that's parts car. But I've got the 88 Lebaron Convertible, the 91 Lebaron Coupe. I've got too much and not enough room. The LeBaron Coupe can sit outside all winter, won't hurt it none. It's been outside, you know, it's the whole life. The LeBaron Convertible, I'd like to get inside, just because it being a convertible, I don't want the top to go bad, because it is actually a nice top. So if I put 4 cars in the building, it will be my LeBaron, the wife's Shadow, the Dakota, and then the 88 LeBaron Convertible. That puts the GLHS outside. It's not going to hurt it none. It's not like it's a show car anyways. But I don't know how I'm going to fit all this stuff in that building, and I don't even know where to begin. Ideally, the way to do it is just completely take everything out. The cars, all the parts, everything. Just take it all out and start putting it back in some kind of order. It's the same as in here. Just take everything out and just start putting it back away in some kind of order. I really need my truck back. Not having my truck is just killing me. So I'm not going to sit here and bore you and talk about this all day. I'm going to do something, I don't know what. I didn't work on a convertible parts truck yet any since the other day. This bolt right here, as you know, as I've already mentioned, is fighting me. I talked to my buddy yesterday about the door on the black convertible. I might mess with it. I don't know. I might just sit down and drink my coffee and listen to music. Who knows? So either way, let's get something done. All right, so it's Wednesday. Didn't do anything last night besides some parts. Tonight, it's fall's definitely here. The weather's cooler than even today than it was yesterday, and the leaves are all changing. So I've got to get busy and get this stuff done outside. Sorry, I just got to sneeze on a bunch. So anyways, the problem I have, I still don't have a damn truck. So now the body shop's saying that I should have it back. Hopefully. They're trying for Friday. So in the meanwhile, I've been working on parts in the basement, just trying to get stuff cleared out. Things ready to list, and then listing things, slowly. I'm not doing 40 items a day or anything like that. But today, you might notice we're outside. In preparation to try to get this car ready to get off the trailer, we're going to see if we can free up these rear wheels. I've done this before. It's been a while. So we're going to jack it up and get the lug nuts off, get the wheel off. We're going to see if we can get this wheel to sort of roll. The front ones roll, it's the rear ones that don't. So let's get busy and let's talk about it. So you might remember when we loaded this car, I don't know if I videoed it. Matter of fact, I know I didn't video it. All 4 tires were still flat. So we put air in them. And of course, in the meantime, they've gone flat again. So we're not going to put air in it this time, just because until the car's ready to move, there's really no reason to. It's not rolling anywhere tonight. So what's likely has happened is the shoes have bonded themselves to the drum. We're going to make a quick attempt in smacking the drum a few times, see if that gets it. Most likely it's not. Most likely we're going to have to take it apart. So let's see. I don't know if you can see the rust. The amount of rust that's fallen off. So most likely, like I said, our problem is internally. So to get this drum off, you need to pop the dust cap off. Normally I would just hit the end of the cap with a hammer, because it would normally go inside the car. But we're going to try to keep this one. So we're going to try to get it off without destroying it. You can still buy the caps new. but I would rather not. I don't want to spend any more money than I have to on this car. There it goes. So now you can see we got the cotter pin here, and the cotter pin is securing the nut to the spindle. So we're going to need to get the cotter key removed. You do that by bending the tabs, and sometimes they're a little tricky to get to. What I like to do is take a pair of cutters here like this, and you can grab a hold of the cotter pin and just tap it out. Sometimes you have to fight them, sometimes they come right off. This is a castle nut. This doesn't thread or nothing. This is just an alignment so you can drive the cotter pin through the hole in the spindle. And then we have the axle nut itself. So I've seen them where you can get them free by hand. Most times you need to I always take a pair of channel locks and just give it a twist or two, and it comes right up, comes right loose 95% of the time. Sometimes you'll have one, especially these ones that have been sitting a long time. The grease kind of dries out. But you get that spun off. And then back and behind that is going to be a set washer. And that washer is what holds the outer bearing in place. You can do what I'm doing. Or if your drum is able to slide off, it'll all come out as one unit. Sometimes this doesn't work out too well, just because it wants to get crooked, as you can see. But I'm trying to get it off of there. I'm going to go get another screwdriver. Trying to get it off of there so that I don't lose anything, because I'm probably going to have to pound this drum off. There, it's coming. Just dried up, old gunked up grease. So now we got that out of the way. And then the same thing on your outer bearing. We'll replace these. This one is actually stuck. That could be part of our problem too. So, alright, so we'll be back. So this is where things can get a little bit interesting, because I want to get this pry bar back in behind here, but I don't want to mess up the dust shield if I can help it. And then also, being a brake shoe, you don't want to mess up all the springs and hardware, which is probably going to end up happening on this one, because this one is definitely stuck. Yeah, this one is stuck. And luckily, like, these are not like the newer cars where they have a set screw. The only thing holding this together is literally the bearing is the only thing holding this on. The hub, which is the studs, should all come off with the drum as one whole unit, and then your shoes and hardware are inside. But yeah, this one I think is going to fight me. I'm probably going to end up breaking something. Man. Alright, I didn't want to bore you with all the details, but this bearing is definitely dried up. It doesn't roll, so I was able to get it out. And I've been prying on this a little bit at a time. Just trying to be patient with it. And I got it to pop. So that's a good sign. That means we're getting closer. You can see it's starting to move, but there's so much rust and junk built up on the bottom of the drum that it's causing a problem. And just as I suspected, the shoes are attached to the drum. So this is going to all need replaced. It's going to have all new hardware. Yep, the hold down pins are broke off, the whole 9 yards. So that means that most likely the parking brake cable is what's now holding us up. Look at all that rust falling out of there. That's what happens when these cars sit for a long time. Stuff just, moisture just kills them. Not only does it kill the body of a car, but it also kills everything else. And that's the part that a lot of these people that want to get on here and pry that part in this car out, that car out, it should be saved. Well, fixing the body's one thing, then you got to fix everything that's attached to it. The shocks, to do it right, you know, you should pull the axle, replace all the bushings, and do all of that good stuff. And it just comes a point, when's enough? You know, like right here, every brake component in here is going to need replaced. So, yeah, it's not expensive per se, but it's just an added. When you start putting these things back together, let's just hypothetically say that you can get this whole assembly for $50. So then that's $100. Now you got the fronts you got to do. So you got calipers, rotors, and all of that. So let's just say again, another $50. That's another $100. So now you're $200 just in the brake hardware. That's not including the brake lines, the rubber lines, and everything else. Master cylinder. So when you start throwing money at these cars, $200-300 here, $200-300 there, eventually over time you exceed the value of the car just in parts. So, and if you're not able to do it yourself, now you've got labor involved on top of that. So restoring these cars, yes, there's some that deserve and are worthy of restoring, but some of these cars just aren't. This one is not, in my opinion, worthy of a full restoration. However, as of right now, it's still too nice of a car to just part it out. This car can still be put back on the road and sold to somebody else and used as a summer driver, weekend car, or whatever, you know. And keep in mind, as of making this video on this, we still don't even know if this engine's locked up. If this engine's locked up, then all that's out of the water. It becomes a parts car, and I'm done with it. But let me get this drum off, and then I'm going to try, see if I can get this thing up in the air high enough to get this door open so I can show you the inside. All right, real quick. So I got it loose, and this is what you're looking at. It literally just dropped down, and I started the recording. I haven't touched it since. So you can see the shoe, the rear shoe is completely stuck to the drum. All the pins are rotted away. The hold down pins is all rotted away. Here's one of the hold down springs or return springs. And then look how much rust and junk is in this. So that's a lot. Sitting in a barn for how many years? This is one of those pieces that nobody talks about. That all this is now should be completely taken apart and redone. You have zero parts left of this that are worth keeping. The drum itself is even, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's even completely, where moisture just laid, rotted it away. So it is what it is. I might try to take the parking brake cable off, because it's going to have to come off eventually anyways, and get the shoes out of here, put the drum back on. This way, at least, again, like I said, it becomes a roller then. So let me work on that, and then we'll go from there. So you can see I put it back together enough just to keep it a roller. Obviously you're not going to drive it on the road with the bearings set like that. Before I got that far, it would get all new bearings and seals and new grease and whatnot. But again, we're just trying to make it a roller so that when I get my truck back and it comes time to unload this car, that part's already done, and then it'll roll off the car trailer from there. So I still can't get the doors open, so let's go get the compressor and air up the front tire. All right, quick disclaimer, this is not a pretty sight. This is the reason why I hate cars that have been sitting for a long time in non-proper conditions. So those are friendly little mice turds. But look at the condition of this seat. This is the driver or passenger seat. It's not cracked. It's dirty. I mean, I'll give it that. It's definitely needs a good detailing. But the headliner, other than this one string hanging down, the headliner's not even bad. And then this seat should roll forward. We got some junk in here. I'm going to clean out of this thing real quick before the mice decide to make another home. But we have a car cover. So somebody cared for this car at one point in time, because there's not just that car cover, but there's this car cover that's brand new, still in the box. I mean, I know it's not a high dollar one, but even the floors, the carpets, not filthy. I mean, it's dirty, yes, but it's not filthy. Get this cardboard out of here. We'll take that to work to be recycled. And then we got some bucket seat covers, and ooh, those are Aztec. Let's see if they're actually in there. Bought from Kmart for $39.97. Looky there. Let's just say these are interesting. It's one single seat cover, black fuzzy. I mean, it's brand new, but it's not going to stay in here. And then the box is empty, so somebody's already gotten the seat covers out of there. It's all good. But yeah, anyway, there is some, I don't even know what kind of cassettes in there. So I'm going through the glove box and the owner's manual and stuff, and I pulled out this Walmart Tire and Lube Express sales receipt from 1/25 of 1998. This car shows at that time it had 96,482 miles, and it currently has 98,663. So it's an original under 100,000 mile car. But when is the last time that you've seen where you can get an oil change? They didn't do anything else. An oil change and filter for $15.88. That's including tax. So they paid with a $20 bill and they got $3.12 back in change. You can't even barely buy the filter for that anymore. That's crazy. And you know, 1998, that was the year I started my job. So that was going on 28 years ago for this particular car, because it would have been January of 98. So, but anyways, so and we got the warranty information book. It even has the original sound system cassette that would have came with these, and it's got different artists on them. And they talk about the cassette radio and stuff in these cars, the arbitration board, Mopar accessories pamphlet. This is another one that confuses the heck out of me. So it has this Michelin, and I've found several of these cars that they've had this, the Michelin warranty for the tires, but also always in the same thing is a Goodyear limited warranty flyer. And then this is a change of address for if you have recall, they know where to contact you. The 1988 sound systems, it goes over instructions on how to operate your radio. I was hoping that there might have been an original window sticker or some sales paperwork, but there's not. And then a very nice condition 88 LeBaron owner's manual. So the console is very clean, but I noticed while I was sitting in here, if you look down in there, this should not be there. That means the console's got to come out because there's mice nests in there. These seats are super comfortable. This is one of the reasons why I love Lebarons so much. So, I haven't given up on this car yet. I'm not going to give up that easily. But, and surprisingly, it doesn't smell like mice in here, which is good. I'm glad that it doesn't, because I've been into some of these cars where they just reek of mice. This one doesn't, so I don't think they really destroyed it a whole lot. But if you remember talking about this car the first time I showed you the car, there's no keys. It didn't come with any keys. I have not been able to get in the trunk yet. The lever on the driver's side floor is not operating the trunk. I had my wife pulling up on the trunk while I was pulling on the lever, and nothing moved. So these cars, the convertibles, had and they might have, coupes may have too. Anyways, a locking system in the trunk to where you can lock out that cable. That may be activated, or the cable itself may be bad. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. So for now, I'm going to put everything in the interior back, get the right rear tire back on, get it back on the ground, and go around and get the left rear tire done. And while I have it in the air on that side, hopefully I can get the driver's door open like I did the passenger side. And I can try to mess with that cable some more. So let's do that. What's that statement? I've heard other people talk about these cars, these abandoned cars, that the tires are flat, but only flat on the bottom. Well, what if it's flat on the top? I don't know. Good morning. Today is Sunday, the last day on this 2-week venture. So, yesterday was beautiful out. My voice is kind of scratchy right now. Probably because of the weather change and whatnot. But anyways, yesterday was a beautiful 80-some degrees. It was windy, but it was sunny, nice. Just overall a very nice day. My daughter got married to the love of her life. I wish them both lifetime of happiness and success. So this morning, we knew this weather was coming, and we're glad it's today and not yesterday, because it would have been crappy yesterday if this was here. But it is very windy, cloudy, rainy, and it's only like 60 degrees. But what's this? Yes, the Tundra is back. Finally, we got the truck back. So now we can get busy. Got a lot to do in the next, well, until it gets super cold. I'm closing this garage door. One thing I don't like about this garage, let that door close. One thing I don't like about this garage is the way, I don't know if it's the way it is or if it's with all garages, but with this one in particular, this time of the year, when you have the doors open, leaves just come flying around the corner and right inside here. So it is what it is. Today, I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm very tired, but I'm going to try to do what I can. I'm going to get this taken apart because I have somebody wanting the regulator assembly. And then that front quarter window, I think. But we're going to try to get the drive shaft out of this thing. So the other day I tried, and it's showing it's a 3/8 wrench, but it's not. Just wants to spin. Metric's too small or too big, either or. So I'm going to try to get that out. I got some gear wrenches. That's what's in that set there that are actually 12-point. Hoping maybe I can tap one of them on there. So that's the plan today. Try to get this engine, ready to come out. I'd like to get the axle shafts out and maybe try to get the transmission linkage, or the mounts. Get the mounts removed. So I don't know how much I'm going to do this because I'm very tired. Didn't get much sleep last night. So we're going to work on it as much as I can until I get finally exhausted enough, and then I just say the hell with it and go back in the house. But I'm not one that can just sit in the house all day and do nothing. I just can't sit and stare at a TV. It drives me crazy because then my mind starts thinking, well, hey, you fool, you could have gotten, you name it, done. So this is what we're going to do. Let's get busy.